Shri Guru Ganadaso Nanadatta Karanayaka Sindhu Vrindavan Sinavatar Prasiddha Siddhara Pranaya Prachara Ajana Lambito Bhujo Kanakavarirato Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamlaya Kaksho Ishwambaro Dvijoyo Yudhidama Paro Bandeji Atpriya Karo Karana Avataro Anandalilamaya Vigraya Himandubhaksha Vishwandaraya Tasmai Mahapremrashkaraya Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namaste Kasturi Tilakam Latapatale Rakshana Kostavana Sagare Varvatikam Kalatare Vegakarakam Kanam Sava Anga Harichandanam Sagaritam Kantam Muktavari Rajastyo Parivestito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani He Shisham Sundara Shikara Shekara Smirahasmeli Manohara Radhika Rasika Mama Pipanari Sapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tavai Vasni Ajivani Kayavina Itivikyaya Raditvam Naimam Charanantikam Yat Kinkireshu Vasa Kalukakavani Nityapadashu Purusha Shashakandamuri Tashakadara Sindhi Visavamajas Takeli Kunja Bhavanangana Mahajani Radhani Radha Ravindranetram Smarani Radha Madhura Smitasham Vadhami Radha Karuna Bharajam Tato Manushti Gati Nakapi Pakita Vahina Yaparagalaksham Shiptastika Marita Namaje Vipamai Tvam Sharanam Prapanam Vrindi Namaste Charana Ravindam Kanaka Jaladagatro Nilasovagya Netro Mrigamara Bharavaro Marati Kundavaro Taruna Vesho Nilapitambaresho Smarani Nivritani Kunje Harika Krishna Chandro Vancha Kalpatru Visha Kripashindu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura-Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Sringa Jaya Sringa Jaya Jaya Krishna Prahlada Dasa Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Brahma. So today's auspicious day is Shri Narasingha Katha, and Srila Gurudev on this day would always have devotees to discuss the glories of Shri Narasingha and Prahlad. This wasn't only the request about Srila Gurudev, but Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even on the banks of Radhakund, used to discuss the glory of Narasingha and Prahlad. Also, Gadadhar Pandit, directly Radhika herself, at Tota Gopinath, would give Srimad Bhagavatam Katha to Mahaprabhu's associates on Narasingha and Prahlad. So we shouldn't think that this Narasingha and Prahlad is a Vaikuntha opulence lila. This lila in Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to catch praying. Understand? The very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya, the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Nama Sankirtanyasa, all deal with praying. The first verse deals with the exclusivity of praying. Whole Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about praying. The last verse talks about the Ododja Lila of Mahaprabhu and the coming of praying in the form of the Ododja Lila. Everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is praying. So the Vastu Nideshtatmaka verse, which verse is that? Vastu Nideshtatmaka verse. One verse is called Namaskaratmaka verse. First verse. Second verse is called Vastu Nideshtatmaka verse. It defines what is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Dharma Prochita Kaita Gotra Paramamani Matsaranam Satam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is only dealing with praying, then all other things which are not related to praying are considered Kaitava Dharma. Kaitava Dharma is an oxymoron. You can't have Dharma and cheating. So it's an oxymoron. But here the point being that Bhagavatam is stating it's exclusive. Other Purans, Itihas, Ved, they may contain many other things related to Dharma, Artha, Kama, and even Moksha. But Srimad Bhagavatam is exclusively dedicated to praying, from first verse to last verse. First verse is also called Upakrama, last verse is called Upasamhara. Everything in between the first verse and the last verse is called abhyas. Abhyas means that thing which connects one to the other. Understand? So the whole thread of Srimad Bhagavatam is praying. The whole purpose of Narasingha and Prahlad Charit, there's so much Rupakya. Rupakya means teachings in everywhere in Srimad Bhagavatam. But the purpose, particularly for those on the path of Bhakti, particularly those on the path of Rag Mag, is if you cannot catch Prem in this Leela, how you'll understand Prem in Ras Panchajaya. If you don't catch Prem here, how will you catch it in Ras Panchajaya? You understand? That's why the Acharyas are always so heavily criticized jumping over the first 9 cantos, because all of the different charits are speaking about Prem, how to obtain it, what it is, different manifestations of it. So if you skip all of that, how you'll understand the highest kind of Prem, Adi Ras, what to speak of Mananakya Mahabharata. Understand? So this is a Prem Lila, actually. And you should understand, in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami Pad is written, Narasingha Rama Krishneshu Sat Aishwarya Purna, that Narasingha Dev, especially Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan and Krishna, they're called Paravastavata. They are the actual pinnacle of what it means to be Bhagavan. That means all the 6 opulences there in full. So what does that mean for other forms of Bhagavan? Varaha, Kurma, they don't have 6 opulences? They do. But actually I heard the definition once, like if you have a dimmer switch. You understand? The potentiality of all 6 opulences are there. But where you'll set the dimmer makes the manifestation of that illumination. In the same way, the fullness of the illumination, top of the switch, is Narasingha, Ramachandra, and Shri Krishna. But then another question comes about. If that's the case, therefore Narasingha Dev, Sri Ramachandra, and Shri Krishna must be the same. So no. Jiva Goswami also made distinction. Bhagavat Tavat Asadharana. Krishna's Asadharana. What Asadharana means uncommon. In the category of Bhagavan, even Paravastavata Bhagavan, Krishna's Asadharana. Why? Aishwarya Madhurya Tattva Visesham Paramananda. Because Krishna in his Swarup is the fullness of Paramananda, which means the fullness of Aladini Shakti. Also, in Krishna's Leela, the complete reconciliation of Aishwarya and Madhurya is made possible. You understand? Is lifting Govardhan Hill Aishwarya Leela? Huh? Any 7-year-old boys you know can lift the hill? You understand? You understand? What about showing the universe in the mouth to Mother Yashoda? Yes. Swallowing a forest fire, killing a snake. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, it's very funny. It's written that after Krishna killed Aghasura, and all the cowherd boys came out, they all took rocks and stones and they started beating the dead body of Aghasura. I bet you won't do that there. Yeah, try that. The body's already dead. You understand? Anyway. So very sweet pastime. But it's not Aishwarya, it is Aishwarya. But the prem of the Braj Ghosh, the residents of Vrindavan, is so thick with Madhurya, it covers the opulence. You understand? But it is more opulent than Vaikuntha actually. Shri Brajdam more opulent than Vaikuntha. But the Braj mood, like we're singing, Iti Dekswalilabi Ranandukunde Swa Gosham Nimanjanta. So this means they are forcibly pushed into a position where they've been drowned in their prem. You understand? So they're drowned in that prem, and therefore that prem is so thick and it's almost by force of the nature of the prem that it covers all Aishwarya. So even when Mother Yashoda saw the entire universe in the mouth of Krishna, including herself, right? It mentions there, Hari Shakti Aishwarya. This is Krishna Chandravati Thakur. Hari Shakti Aishwarya Pariksha. The Hari Shakti, Bhagavan Shakti in Aishwarya came to do Pariksha to Mother Yashoda. But Dasi Prit Bhagat. But she made that event a servant of her prem. How? She thought, oh, something must have happened. Maybe somebody gave him an evil eye or something. So then she called for all the priests. And so for the next hours, Krishna was being bathed in all the cow urine, this thing, that. You understand? That wasn't his intention. You understand? He had a different idea. But Mother Yashoda's praying, because Vatsalya praying has the elements, Palan Polsan, Tanda Bhartsan, and Sanka Amangala. So Tanda Bhartsan means punish. So she thought, oh, I don't know what happened here, but Palan and Polsan have to protect my child. And Sanka Amangala means always fearing something inauspicious may have happened. So for this, she took motherly duties. Oh, I'm going to drown him with all the panchagavya, all the elements of the cow. You understand? So, Sri Narasingha Bhagavan also, if you will look in Geet Govinda, has anybody read Geet Govinda? But if you read Geet Govinda, even in the beginning, he's mentioning like in Dasavatar Stotram. Is Dasavatar Stotram about those 10 incarnations or not? I'm asking.
Yes.
Huh? So you're getting on both sides, so just in case.
It's more about Keshava.
Huh?
It's more about Keshava.
Yeah, so who's Keshava?
Krishna.
So all of those represent 8 types of Nayak. You understand? Who is Dir Lalit, Dir Prasan, Dir Dutta, Dir Dhata, who's Anakul, Dakshin, Sat and Drash. All those kinds of 8 kinds of Nayak personas are in the qualities of those Das Avatar. So he's describing the Das Avatar to glorify Keshav by pointing out those qualities in those avatars and what rasa they indicate. You understand? So everything about our line, our mood, our everything is all about praying. So this Narasingha Prahlad Charita is also about praying. It doesn't mean that there's not many kinds of upakya that can be taken. So somebody will tell you that Hiranyakasipu, Ravan, Kumbhakana, Shishupal and Dantavaka were demons. And they carried the qualities of being obsessed with material energy, pride in Hiranyaksha, being obsessed with material enjoyment. So the tendency for enjoyment through false ego is in Hiranyakasipu. Kumbhakarna, his association with the mode of ignorance, because he slept all the time. Ravan's association with lust, because you know the previous history of Ravan, that he tried to assault Vedavati, he was cursed, etc., etc. Instead, so absorption with lust. In the case of Dantavakra, his extreme anger, when he heard that Salva and then also Shishupala had been killed, he became so angry. You understand? He could not even get to his destination to fight. It's also Krishna's intention, because Krishna wanted him not to get to Dwarka. So he fought him very near Mathura, and then Jiva Goswami mentioned to Gopal Champu, after killing that Dantavaka, Krishna looked across the Jamuna and returned to Vrindavan. You understand? So his personification is Shishupala Vindi from the very beginning of life. So you could give Upakya and all these different manifestations, they're all full of these, so many things you can give. But our aim and objective, ultimately, we want to find where is praying in this Lila. So it begins that actually in the Vaikuntha Lok, there are 4 different directions, and then there's the mid directions, and then there's the top and the bottom. But on the 4 main directions, there are 4 sets of gatekeepers. Chanda Prachanda, Datta Vidatta, Bhadra Subhadra, and on the western gate is the most favorite gatekeepers of the Lord. They are called Jaya and Vijaya. Question may arise, why is it necessary to have gatekeepers in Vaikuntha? Why does it need to be a gated community? Because God himself is there. Everything was in a gated community with security guards, etc., etc. So the idea of these 8 sets of gatekeepers is simply that they are the manifestations of the glorification of Vaikuntha and Bhagavan. This is why they come in pairs. All day long, they don't need to eat or sleep. You don't have to give them any payment. Their payment is Harikatha one to another. You understand? This is written actually in that commentary which hurts. They speak Harikatha all day long. In Vaikuntha means no kunta, no anxiety, nothing, no fighting, no problems. So they don't expect any problems. So they're only there to glorify Vaikuntha. Has anybody been to South India?
Yes.
You go to Tirtha South India, and you go to all the temples, you see Dwarapalaks on all the doors. And so another thing people don't understand is that the Dwarapalak is not just on the outside of the gate of Vaikuntha. Every single door that you go into anywhere in Vaikuntha, there's expansions of those Dwarapalaks. You understand? So Jaya and Vijaya, they're the most favorite gatekeepers of the Lord. So the praying between Bhagavan and these 2 gatekeepers is extraordinary. So much to the point that they praying that Bhagavan has for them and the praying they have for Bhagavan was shown in one Leela. I have to contract things because we don't have so much time. So once Lakshmi Devi, she left the Antapura. Antapura means the inner chamber. So they are also, by expansion, the Dwarapalaks of that inner chamber outside the bedroom of Bhagavan. So Bhagavan told to Jaya and Vijaya, I'm going to do Shaya means rest. So don't let anybody in. So Lakshmi Devi, she went for any reason outside the Antapur, and when she wanted to return, Jai and Vijay were a little perplexed, but they said, Mata, we can't allow you to go in. So Lakshmi Devi pulled out the card that normally very prestigious people do. You know who I am? But anyway, Jai and Vijay, they were unwavering. They told Mata, this is the order of our Prabhu. And our lives are based in that order. What can we do? So Lakshmi Devi immediately arose in her. They've become, because of their dearness to Narayan, they've become a little proud. So they should be checked. And she thought they should be cursed. But then she thought, because they're so dear to Lord Narayan, I'm hesitant to speak anything. So in her mind she thought, but she didn't speak. At the same time, the Chatusana, 4 Kumaras, they had observed Sri Narada Muni, and how Narada Muni was always completely absorbed in the highest kind of bliss. There's one verse, Asambhashita Bhavagam Vira Chittam. Observing a Vaishnava, even if you're not speaking to that Vaishnava, and you see the qualities of that Vaishnava in the depth of their Anand. So, Chatusana 4 Kumaras, they saw, our younger brother, because 4 Kumaras appeared before Narada. Our younger brother, what kind of Anand he's having? His Anand is so great, even the Veena speaking back to him. Understand? So it's transmitted to the Veena. So everywhere he goes, Radhika Ramana Name, Nada Muni Vajay Veena, Radhika Ramana. Even this Veena, totally inanimate thing, it's also speaking now in his association. You understand? How much Anand is emanating from him? We don't have this type of Anand. Why? Chatusana, they represent Vairagya, Tapasya, Dhyan, and Yoga. They're the personifications of these things. You understand? In these kind of things, you may find Atmanand. Even you'll find Brahmanand. But Vaikuntha Narayan Sevanand, not to speak of any higher Nand, you will not find. You understand? This was proven by Shukdev Goswami himself. Because when Shukdev Goswami entered the mount of Bhitika, and he stayed in the womb of Bhitika for 16 years, some 12 years, at that time when Vyasadeva coaxed him to come out, he told, no, I will not come out. Why? Oh, I will not enter any Maya at all. Please, at least if you come out, you can do bhajan, sadhan, everything you can. No, I don't want to come into any Maya. So you have to ask Krishna himself to come in directly and remove any Maya. So then Krishna told, I will only come for 1 minute and remove Maya. So there's very interesting teaching in this pastime. So Krishna came for 1 minute to remove Maya, then immediately Shukdev came out, and immediately he left and went away. So what was the point here? He did not say, even though he knew Krishna was coming, he wanted praying. He simply wanted the removal of Maya. So an important teaching is here, simply by the removal of Maya, you don't get Krishna praying. This is a misunderstanding that's been there also. That actually everything is right beneath Maya. And if we remove what's in Maya, a whole swarup of a coward boy gopi will manifest. No. No. Even if you remove Maya, Bhakti is a speciality. That's why it's called Sudurlabh. If it's everybody has it, then it's not Sudurlabh. You understand? So Bhakti is given. That's why in this verse, Prayujamani Mahi Tvam Suram Bhagavatim Tanu. The word Prayujamani has been translated by the Acharyas, Prayujamani Iti Niyamane. When Pujabhat Shiva Maharaj was here, he showed me the Devanagari, the writing where this translation is there. Prayujan, because Prayujan in Sanskrit does not mean awarded, but it's translated everywhere like that. So he says Prayujamani Niyamane. Niyamane means to award something. Why? Because without the mercy of Radhika, without the mercy of Bhagavan, without the mercy of Guru, can anyone get bhakti? But can you remove Maya? Yog, Tapasya, Gyan, Vairagya, you can remove Maya, and you will realize Atma Ananda. And in the Atma, Jiva Goswami Pads mention Chidananda Atmaka, and Chidananda Atmaka means Dukkha Pratiyogitva. There's no misery in the Atma. So as soon as Maya is gone, you'll experience the bliss of the Atma, and then you can get more bliss when you realize Brahman. But to realize what is Seva Ananda to Narayan, to Sri Ramachandra, to Sri Krishna. What to speak of Sri Krishna and Braj, that has to be given. You understand? That has to be given. Yeah? It's awarded by Srimati Radharani ultimately. Understand? So the Chatusana, they saw, oh no, it's a high class of bliss. We don't even have this high class of bliss. So then they went to the authority, Brahmaji. Oh, Peter, listen. We've seen our younger brother, and we've seen that his bliss is so high class of bliss. So we're wondering why we don't have this high class of bliss. So Brahma resisted the temptation. See, when I told you all to make children follow orders, he resisted that order to speak on that. And he spoke, listen, the reason that the bliss within Nard is so powerful is because when he was conceived from my heart, he was bhakti personified. He was the mood. What does bhakti mean? Literally. Bhaj datu iti sevayam. Bhaj means savor. Bhakti means savor. Devotion is the mood in which you serve, but the word means savor. So he said, because he was born, if you reach him about time, he was appeared from the best of Brahma's contemplation, which was in bhakti. This is after Brahma's anger that the original sons would not produce, that the four Kumaras would not produce. Right after giving up all the subtle bodies, then he produced Nard from his heart. And Nard was imbued with the personification of bhakti. So then, they told, because this Nard has bhakti for Narayan, therefore his bliss is very high class. So four Kumaras asked, oh, please tell us about the glory and Mahima of Narayan. So then Brahmaji began to speak the Hari Katha of Lord Narayan and Vaikuntha Seva. And what is the glory of Vaikuntha Vasis? At that point, the four Kumaras gradually, their Brahmavad was being broken. And the Utkant, the desire, deep desire to have the darshan of Narayan into their hearts. Immediately upon the conclusion of Sri Brahmaji's Harikatha, they immediately went without stop to go to this place, Vaikuntha, that they had spoken about. For most people, that would be very difficult. But because they had become perfect in yoga, tapasya, jnana, and vairagya, and now they had Utkanta, greed for bhakti, then they were already qualified persons. Therefore, they passed through the first 6 gates leading to Vaikuntha. These 6 gates have been described differently. Some describe them as the chakras within the body. Some describe it as Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. It has to be conquered. So very different descriptions are given by different acharyas, different times. But they passed through those first 6 gates very easily. But then they came to the 7th gate, which was the doorway to Vaikuntha. And there they saw the 2 of the most beautiful persons. What they heard from Brahmaji about the description of Narayan, they thought, they look exactly like the description we heard from Sri Brahmaji. But then they did close investigation. First of all, there can't be 2 Narayans. That's first thing. Secondly, after close examination, what didn't they see? They were looking. What else? Shrivats. They looked closely to the chest. And they did not see the mark of Shrivats. They knew, oh, not Narayan. So then they approached the gates, palms folded. And they began to try to enter the 7th gate. Because they took it axiomatically, we have a pass. We've passed through 6 gates already. So our gate passes from the previous gates must be good. We try to pass. But, Sri Jai and Vijay, they put their clubs down. No. First of all, the dress code here is different. That's the initial problem, is the dress code. So, but anyway, they said, no. Hold. It is not that easy to enter Vaikuntha. Even a person may have become accomplished in all yoga, jnana, vairagya, tapasya, everything. But what is the qualification needed to enter here? What qualification is needed? Bhakti. Yes, bhakti, praying. That's the one. So you're not automatically qualified to enter here. And therefore we have some doubt. So the 4 Kumaras, they couldn't understand. Because they thought, listen, anyone who shows the kind of eagerness that we're expressing, this kind of utkant, how could it be manifest if there was no bhakti? You understand? So on their thing, they're thinking, listen, having heard this Harikatha from Brahma, the lobe for this kind of darshan of Narayan was there. But then again, in the mind of 2 gatekeepers, they came. Listen, is just desiring the darshan of Bhagavan, is that bhakti? You understand? So back and forth. These are all things mentioned by commentators, some in South India. Right? This is the dichotomy going back and forth. You understand? Who's inspiring this whole dichotomy to go on? Huh? He's authorizing, but the Lila Shakti. Understand? Lila Shakti, like Yogamaya. In Vaikuntha, who's the Yogamaya potency? If you go to any temple in South India, you see three forms of Shakti. Sri, Bu, and Lila or Lila Shakti. So Lila Shakti is providing this whole arrangement. So they're going back and forth, yes. But just taking darshan and Narayana doesn't mean seva, doesn't mean you're bhakti. Then they're thinking, oh, but who are you to try to assess what is our level of desire? You understand? Are you yourself Bhagavan? Oh, we've heard about many imposters who imitated Bhagavan, like Kondraka, others. So we can't assess that also you may even not be genuine. So now it rises to a level where now there's doubt on both sides. So it says, listen, because you are taking the side of having so much doubt, first of all, if you're truly a servant of Narayan, why would it not be that you could automatically understand the hearts of others who are coming to enter this Vaikuntha? You understand? So now we have doubts about your identity. Are you truly the Dwarpaliks of this Vaikuntha Dham? So therefore we think maybe you're not. And if you're an imposter, our first service is to get rid of you. Understand? This is how we'll serve Narayan first. So we're giving you a curse. That because you've taken the mentality of distinguishing this person from that person, who's this, who's that, these are all the mentalities that you find among the materialists. Those who have a hankar. And they're identifying from one hankar to another because they can't see the soul. Therefore they discriminate. Why do people discriminate in this world? On the basis of the subtle and gross body. What kind of mind you have, what kind of body you have. They can't discriminate on the Atma, they don't know what is an Atma. So they say maybe imposters you are. So therefore they pronounce this curse. As soon as they pronounce this curse, realizing the potency present in Chatusini, then the Jai and Vijay became a little disturbed. At that time, Jiva Goswami spoke that Sri Narayan, having let that play out, he got onto the back of Sri Garuda and he told Lakshmi, you should also come. Getting on the back of Garuda. When Garuda starts to flap his wings, what happens? The Vedas start to. So all of a sudden, both the Chatusana four Kumara, the Vedas, sounds of the Vedas start to come out. So both the Chatusana and the Jai Vijay, upon hearing that sound, which is all the charit and glorification of Sri Narayan, because this is what if you've been to India, like when they wake up Balaji, if you go to Tirupati, in the early morning you hear them recite what's called Suprabhatam. And it's the morning prayer to wake up Balaji. It is so beautiful. They play it over the loudspeaker. You understand? Then later on through the day, they'll recite Vishnu Sahasranam, somebody Stav and Stuti. Anyway, they heard this and, because in Vaikuntha, this is also the mode. You understand? So, they're all stunned just hearing this. So, Sri Narayan then comes on the back of Garuda, and he pulls up. But then he tells Lakshmi, and he himself gets down off the back of Garuda. Normally, this is a very rare thing. Because the Lord normally, whatever he wants to do, he can do from the throne of Garuda. With the accompaniment of all the prayers. But he got down off the back of Garuda. And he began to approach the gatekeepers in the Chatusana. And at that time, the breeze, which is always flowing in Vaikuntha, came across the feet of Sri Narayan. And it caught the fragrance of the tulsi that was placed there. That fragrance went and it entered into the nostrils of the Chatusana four Kumaras. At that time, they began to experience Asta Satvik Vikar. And when they began to experience Asta Satvik Vikar, their minds became half in consciousness, half out of consciousness. At that time, the Lord started speaking. Listen, I realized that my two gatekeepers, they have offended you. For me, the Brahmins are the most dear thing. I eat through the Brahmins. The Brahmins are so dear to me that even if one of my limbs offended a Brahmin, I would cut off that limb. So he began speaking and glorifying the Brahmin so heavily. You understand? But when you read these glorifications very closely, he's saying how great the Brahmins are, how this and that the Brahmins are, but the Brahmins are not my gatekeepers. You understand? There's so many Brahmins in the world, but these Brahmins are not like my gatekeepers. You understand? Because the Lord is saying, I'm taking responsibility for them. If you've been offended by them, it's like I've offended you. Could anybody say Bhagavan's offended me? You understand? But then the four Kumars, they actually speak and say, listen, oh my Lord, after the Lord finishes speaking, we could not understand the profound import of your words. Partly because they were in ecstasy, but partly because it was such a deep inner meaning of expression. Here's where we start to pick up what kind of praying Narayan has for these gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay. You understand? What kind of frame he has for them. So he's telling Brahmins, wonderful, right? But these gatekeepers of mine, they are Kantik Bhaktas. You understand? What kind of love they have for me, what kind of love I have for them. But still, because they've offended you, I will allow this curse to go on. So then the four Kumaras, they told, listen, whatever punishment you decide for them, or if you decide to take away the punishment, we're okay with that. If you want to punish us, it is also okay. The Lord said, no, no. Why is this? Because there was something Chatusana was not privy to. You understand? Something had nothing to do with Chatusana. Every single day, the Lord would lay in his Vaikuntha on his throne. And he would think, listen. He would think, listen, my power is so glorified all over the world. Everyone knows how powerful I am. But in this Vaikuntha, no one has ever seen my power, because how will it be displayed? Only by their natural bhav they realize my Sadhaishwarya. But have they ever seen my power on display? If I want to lift up anything, immediately 10,000 servants will come, Bhagavan. Understand? If I want to stretch even, somebody will come and start to massage. You understand? So where have they seen my power ever? At the same time, Jai and Vijaya having one Harikatha session at the gate. How do you go from the please?
Can you do it outside? Can you take the table outside and do it out there?
It's okay. So they're also having one discussion. Prabhu, every day we stand here and we have the opportunity to guard the gates of Vaikuntha. But our Prabhu is so powerful. What need we have to protect him? Yes, he is so powerful. Have you ever seen? No, I've not seen. Well, I've not seen either. But we know. We know how powerful he is. Then they started speculating. Not speculating, but they started speaking. How wonderful it would be, even one time, to see the power of my Prabhu. You understand? Even one time, to see the power of my Prabhu. Oh, such a wonderful thing. So the Lord took note of this in his heart. At the same time, he also wanted to taste Veera Rasa. 12 kinds of rasas, among them, one rasa is called Veera Rasa. In the Krishna Sandhava Jiva Goswami is quoted, Jaya Vijaya Sonakari Uttarakhande Veera Rasa So Bhakti Vinodaya. That actually on the pretense of a curse, Sap Vyajema. Vyajema means a pretense. Sap, one curse was given by these four Kumaras so that the Lord could taste Veera Rasa, Swabhakti Vinodaya, by the pleasure of his devotees. Because if a person is not a devotee, even if the Lord fights with them, then the Lord does not get any rasa. You understand? Because rasa requires two things. First thing is Saibhav. And then there's the alamban. Right? In Vibhav, the first thing is alamban. What is alamban?
Support.
Support. And what's the two things in alamban? Alamban and Uripan. What are the two things of the alamban? And Ashraya and Vishaya. Do you understand? Therefore, without the Ashraya of Bhakti, how can there be any rasa? Therefore, the Acharyas say, even though the Lord was fighting with Charan and Mustika, Toshal, all the wrestlers in the arena of Kamsa, and the Lord was smiling, his body was covered with blood as he was hitting them and beating them up and giving them syllable beatings, I bet you will not ever bring me out of the But still, even though he was smiling and everything, was it Ras? Rupa Goswami says no. So even though the Lord was happy at that time, you can't say Charan and Mustika had bhakti. You understand? It will be called Ati Vyakti Dosh, an overextension of the meaning of bhakti. Because they were actually agents of Kamsa. Therefore their mood was pratikul. They did not have any bhakti for Bhagavan. So he could not taste Ras. How will he taste Ras? So Bhakta Vinodaya, He'll taste the bliss of happiness in rasa from his devotee. Therefore, he arranged the whole thing that Jai and Vijay, this cursed four Kumars, all would happen through his Leela Shakti. Understand? And he told, when they were about to descend to this world, he said, Mai Samram Benu Yoga. That actually you will descend to this world and you will be absorbed in yoga in anger. You understand? Then he also told, Samrama, Samritya, Samadhi, Anubhadi Yoga. The intensification of your anger, the continuum of the intensification of your anger is actually increasing and increasing the bhakti in this particular rasa. You understand? So now many secrets come out. Therefore, the anger of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakasipu, Rav and Kumbhakarna, and then Sishupal and Dantavaka, but especially in the first two, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu, their anger was actually bhakti yoga. Read the proportion of Prabhupada. You understand? So who understands this? And in bhakti yoga, is there praying or is there not praying? So if we only looked at Bhagavatam from the Upakyan, these are demons, absorbed in material life. Hiranyaksha means who is fully absorbed only in seeing gold and opulence and has pride because of it. Hiranyakasipu means who wants to enjoy a soft bed due to the opulence, enjoy the features of material life. So you can take this Upakyan. But in relation to bhakti, if one will see how deep is the love and affection between the Lord and Jai and Vijay, this is a deeper understanding of this journey. You understand? So the Lord arranged this whole thing to taste ras. You understand? So now Jai and Vijay, they enter and they're completely absorbed in the abhiman of these three demons. Besides that, before they left, the Lord told them, listen, this was already ordained. Why? Because of what happened with Lakshmi Devi. So I'm giving you a choice. You can take 7 births in the material world as my devotee, or you can take 3 births opposed to me. So Srila Prabhupada, to help us understand, said they took 3 births for what reason?
Shorter time.
Shorter time to hurry up and go back home, back to Godhead. It's just for us, especially in our Nephite condition. What was the reason they chose 3 births over 7 births? Lord's desire. Not only that, but Narayana Parayana Save, Napakrishna Viviti, Swarga Apalaga Narakishu, Apitu Atradasha. If they come here as devotees, there's no difference between anything. Because devotee, whether he's here or there, is it Vaikuntha for them? You understand? Therefore, they also realized, no, there's some speciality in coming in opposition to the Lord. So they accepted the abhiman of being Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakasipu, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Sishupal, and Dantavakra. I'll tell because time is going. That actually only in the incarnations of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu, less in Kumbhakarna and Ravan, and almost nil in Dantavakra and Sishupal, was the emphasis on Viras. In the first 2, the meeting of the Lord with those 2 persons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu, was direct, immediate, and let's get ready to rumble. Right? There wasn't a whole Leela that drew out or anything else. In Ram Leela, is the Leela based around the fight with Lord Ram? In Krishna Leela, is it based around the comments of Sishupal, the insults of Sishupal, or the fight with? No. You understand? That's one part of it. So the real emphasis of the tasting of Viras was in these first 2. You understand? Also, when the Lord fought with Hiranyaksha, how long was that fight? There was a lot, huh? Huh?
Millennials.
Really, in reference, it was pretty short. There was a lot of talking, right? Hiranyaksha was hurling insults. The Lord would defend it. Then Hiranyaksha would hurl more insults. There was a lot of posturing and everything else. But when it came to the fight, he swung a couple of times, hit him in the back of the head. That really, if you look at the description, what it says. He dodged here, went there, hit him one time, he ducked, he did this, he came back, hit him in the back of the head. So much so, Jiva Goswami Prabhupada mentions, because the body of Varaha is composed of yajna. So all the Vedas are present there, Kusha grass is present there. The Shruk and Shruv to do yajna, his tusk. After the body of Hiranyaksha was down, he began to dig into the body. You understand? Pouring in the element of sacrifice into that body. You understand? With Hiranyakasipu, so many things went into it. You understand? Hiranyakasipu, he became very angry after his brother was killed. He became so angry he wanted revenge immediately. So he immediately said, I'm going to go and perform tapasya, and I'm going to get revenge for my brother. So Shukracharya said, listen, right now is not the best time. First of all, the season is not best. Astrologically, it's not good. And you're also very angry, therefore it will spill into your tapasya. So not good to do it now. Hiranyakasipu, no, right now I must go and perform. So he went immediately to the forest to perform tapasya. He was sitting there and he was chanting. And every time he wanted to chant the mantra, two sages had appeared as birds in a tree. And every time he would begin to chant his mantra, they would finish it. He'd go, Om, they go, Om Namo Narayana. Understand? So then his concentration would be broke. He'd start again. Om Namo Narayana Namaha. You understand? So finally he looked and he couldn't find the birds. He became fed up and he went back home. It was at that time Kayadu, his wife, she told, listen, my husband, Guruji had given good advice. Sometimes it's better to be patient. How much patience did you take when you comforted the sons and the wives of your brother? You spoke so much wonderful Atma Tattva to them. Your presence of speaking was so calming. What is the upakyan in this? One who could speak very nicely but cannot practice themselves. Understand? One can speak very nicely but cannot practice themselves. Understand? Because Ravan also, you think Ravan was not learned? Extremely learned. You understand? So it's not that it wasn't like the demons today. You understand? Demons today, they don't know the head from the foot and all that. You know. The demons, they were Vedically qualified. They could not apply it to serving Bhagavan. This is the issue. Understand? So, Hiranyakasipu, he spoke with his wife Kayadu, yes, I understand. But I will certainly get revenge for my brother. She said, for now, you should simply enjoy that you've chased all the demigods out of heaven. You're occupying the Swargalok. Perhaps we should do some interior decoration. That time, really, they call Vishwakarma. It's written in, I think, Padma Purana in part. They called for Vishwakarma. And Vishwakarma began to redecorate all of Swargalok. Because everything in Swarga is Indra this, Indra that, Indra this, Indra that. In the place of Indra. So they started redecoration. And this is a very interesting fact that comes up that's not known a lot. So they were decorating many things there. But there was one thing that Hiranyakasipu himself personally oversaw. It was the building of one stamba, means pillar. He personally oversaw the building of this pillar near his throne. And on that pillar, all of his pastimes and glories were all narrated. If you go to India, you see how they carve things in the pillars about different pastimes? So all the glories of Hiranyakasipu were carved into this pillar. So it's written there in South India, they comment on this and they say, he personally oversaw the building of this pillar. This is why when he asked Prahlad, where's your Bhagavan? He said, everywhere. He said, is he in this pillar? He was sure he wasn't because he personally oversaw the building of that pillar. Understand? So anyways, in this way, Hiranyakasipu began to decorate, he began to enjoy Swarga and so many things. At that time also his wife told him, this is an excellent time for conception. We should, this time, use to make our children. So Hiranyakasipu, he was agreeable, so he went to make children, but then Kayadu asked the question, listen, please tell me though, what happened when you went to perform your tapasya? He said, no, I don't want to talk about it. He said, oh, my husband, especially in a time of intimacy, what secrets are not there between husband and wife? So then, he was thinking about it, he said, okay, listen, at the time I sat down to do my tapasya, I was sitting properly, everything was ready, I began to chant the mantras, and all of a sudden from someplace came, Om Namo Narayana Namaha. And I kept looking, I could not find the source of that. So this way my whole tapasya was spoiled, but perhaps it was because I was disobedient to Gurudev, etc., etc. So then, Kayadu, she started to think about it. Prabhu, what is Om Namo Narayana? Oh, he is our enemy. This is our enemy. He became more and more excited. Oh. But who would have recited Om Namo Narayana Namaha? So by the time they came for union, then in his mind all he's thinking is Om Namo Narayana Namaha, Om Namo Narayana Namaha. Understand? At that time, the effect of that was it produced Sri Prahalad. You understand? Then, afterwards, Hiranyakasipu began to think, how is it possible that I'm living very luxuriously, very comfortably, and my only brother has been killed by our enemy? How can I live like this? Very peacefully in his palace, with children, with wife, with servants, but I'm living peacefully. Then Shukracharya gave, now's good time to perform tapasya. So then he went and he began to perform such heavy austerities. At one point, anvils, stones, everything come in his body, and fire began to come from his head. The smoke from that fire was choking the heavenly planets. All demigods went to Lord Vishnu, headed by Brahma. Oh my Lord, all the demigods have been subdued. Only Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Shiva have become exempt from the tyranny of this Hiranyakasipu. He stopped all yajnas. We're also homeless. We're shacking up in one hotel nearby Swarga. So they were all disturbed, everything. You understand? So the Lord said, don't worry. I'm going to kill him. At the time that he will disturb my Bhakta Prahlad, I will kill. But that will be for some time. Right? When Hiranyakasipu left to perform austerities, the demigods also thought, we should make a plan. I think this is before they went to Lord Vishnu, so I'm correct. Before they went to Lord Vishnu. They kidnapped Kayadu. And they were on their way, and they thought if we kill the child in the womb, or children in the womb, then the dynasty of this demon, at least when he dies, there won't be a dynasty to follow him. You understand? Of other demoniac children who've also been trained like this. Right? So Narada Muni came there at that time. He told, listen, first of all, the child in the womb of this woman is a pure Vaishnava. And therefore you have no ability to kill it. More than that, I am going to take charge of this child, of this woman, and all of you should go. So that time all the demigods, they scurried everywhere. And Narada Rishi took her back to his ashram. At that time, Narada Muni began to give Hari Katha every single day. Kayadu at some places, Kayadu would nod, she would fall asleep, etc., etc. So then the question became, how is it that if Kayadu, in a conscious state, was falling asleep sometimes while hearing the Hari Katha, how is it possible that Prahlad heard everything? This comes in the verse in the 3rd canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Satam prasanga mamaveya samvido bhavanti rit karana rasanaya katha. It says that the crumb of the appearance of true Hari Katha in prasanga is not that the Hari Katha goes into your ear and into your mind, and then you process it and everything else, and then you think about it. Yeah, this is very nice. It sounded good. Can you repeat what verse was that, Prabhu? Right? So this is not the hearing Hari Katha. Hari Katha, Bhavanti, it takes its appearance writ in the heart. The revelation that comes in the heart and the experience that comes in the heart manifests that the words on the ears become pleasing. You understand? It's not the opposite way around. You don't hear Hari Katha here. You don't take darshan of Bhagavan here. You understand? Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Rit Rojam Eshe Shruta Ikshita Pat. You take darshan of Bhagavan Shruta Ikshita by hearing, and by hearing you see darshan. You understand? It means that the Lord manifests within the heart by your hearing. That's the darshan. So the darshan won't come. You're not going to see Krishna at Publix when, oh, it's happened finally. I knew it was coming. And I heard the bells. I thought it was just them ringing things up, but no, it was Krishna. So it won't be that kind of experience. Actually, the darshan will come from hearing Hari Katha in prasanga. Prasanga means that the hearer is qualified and the speaker is qualified. It creates prasanga. Then Mama Virya, the Shakti of Bhagavan, Swarup Shakti, enters the heart and it reveals. And when it gives birth there, it becomes very pleasing then to the ears. You understand? So Prahlad, this is how he was hearing. You understand? So everything was coming in the heart of Prahlad. When he teaches his school friends, he's going to say that. I heard everything from my Gurudev at that time. So when Hiranyakasipu finally got the darshan of Sri Brahmaji, and he told at that time, oh, listen, you perform such severe austerities, right? What boon do you request? He immediately said, I want to be immortal. Because if I'm immortal, then I have no problems. Nothing can ever happen to me. So then Brahmaji told him, listen, I'm not even immortal, and I cannot give you what I have. if you want to borrow $100 and have $10 in my pocket, how is possible? So he told, listen, I'm not even immortal. But then the austerities of Hiranyakasipu had sharpened also his intelligence. So he began to think of every single possibility of how his death could occur. So he told him, listen, I don't want to be killed in the daytime. Tatashtu. Not at night. Okay, Tatashtu. Not inside. Tatashtu, man. Right? I don't want to kill inside, I don't want to kill outside. I don't want to kill any man or any beast. In fact, anything created by you. You understand? This is going on the whole list. You know, I don't want to be killed in the sky, I don't want to be killed on the... So he went through every possibility to try to protect his life. Do we not do the same? Do we have some Hiranyakasipu with us? Just checking. You understand? So he went through every possibility, except now it's just artificialized. So everybody goes to the doctor says, well, I can give you this, this, and this, and this, and this. You understand? Now, it also may kill you. You understand? Just like you see advertisement, it'll say, do you have tingling leg syndrome? Do your legs tingle? And everyone will say, yeah, my legs don't tingle. Right? Well, take leg tingle free. Right? And then they say, but it may cause you to be depressed, have anxiety, have headaches, and it may also kill you. Right? So my legs won't be tingling anymore, but I may be suicidal, crazy. But because we have such attachment, on the other night on our phone conference I was mentioning, really, one devotee friend of ours has passed away recently. Also, we should also offer a blessing for Sri Taman Krishna Prabhu. He passed away recently in New York. I've known him for many, many years, since 1972 actually, when I first started going to temple everything. So, but anyway, it was just a discussion about death in general. And some devotees were saying it's very, very sad. So we should think by Sangha, some sadness should come. But we should not think death is sad. Gurudev told many times, you should place your foot on the head of death and step forward. Don't be afraid of death. Has Gurudev said or not?
Yes.
Many, many times. Why? Because actually the fear is not of death. It's the fear of non-existence. You understand? It's the fear of not existing. It's not fearing death. If somebody told you, okay, you just close your eyes, you wake up in your next body, nobody has any problems with it. But the idea is there's a doubt. Because we've so much associated with the antakara, means the subtle body here, we're thinking, if I give up this gross body and this subtle body, how will I exist? This is why Sambandhit Gyan and the practice of bhajan very deeply. Because if you don't establish your real identity, it will be extremely difficult for you to become absorbed in that identity. You understand? You have to have some realization of that identity. So the practice says, if you have any issue, problem, doubt, then you should approach Sri Guru, Shiksha Guru, everything. You should get clarity how I will understand what is my identity. You understand? So the whole idea we've been doing for many years, this won't take a PSA place here, public service announcement. Many years doing bhajan live with the idea I'm going to practice and I don't know, somehow or another something's going to happen one day and I don't know exactly how it works. We cannot do that anymore. You have to be very clear what's happening, how it works, what is bhajan, what should I expect to see, what will I know that's false if I see it. This is the practice. You can't go 60 years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever it is, doing bhajan sadhan, and you're not clear what should be happening. You understand? Haribo, Prabhu. Let's sing. Where's your good wife?
I know.
She's watching at home?
Yes.
Okay. This is like so don't be like this. Don't be in a state where I'm not clear about what is Southern Bhajan, what is Sambandhit Gyan, what is my practice, what I should expect to see or feel. If you're not clear, always be with high-class sadhu sangha and always inquiring, doing practice and then checking. You understand? This is really what should be. Because if you go and you just let things go, the material impressions from time without any beginning, they're going to dominate that space. You understand? Because there's no other alternative. Because we have to exist. And if I don't know the existence of my swarup, then I will be forced to accept the dictates of the ahamkara and the upadi I have in this life. Upadi means the particular body you're born in right now. Let's call you Upadi. Right? I'm John Doe, born to Sally Joe, etc., etc. Right? And the Ahamkara is the protector of that idea. That's what causes the fear of death also. The Ahamkara is saying, hey, don't let this idea you're going to not exist go on. You know, get some energy around this thing. You understand? Get scared. Get nervous. You understand? It's because we don't know what is my identity for real. There's an idea I'm not the body. But saying I'm not the body is not the same as knowing who I am. You understand? The first element of that is to take shelter of the generic Sambandha Gyan, Jiverso Puya Krishna, Nitya Das. If you don't understand more than that, be established, I'm Das of Krishna. The particular of that, I'm doing deep Sarin Bhajan to realize. But I am the Das of Krishna. If you don't keep that mood, then your Ahamkara and all your material impressions will force you to lock onto that because there's no such thing as non-existence. That's why the verse, Bayam Vritti Abhinivesha Tashat. Bayam automatically arises and the duality arises around existence. You understand? So be situated in Sambandha Gyan. Understand? So, where were we? In the Lila? Oh, Prahlad Maharaj, he heard. He heard fully everything. So now, when Hiranyakasipu received all of his benedictions, that's where we were. Then he came back, and now he's enjoying again his home life with Kayadu, with his 6 sons, Prahlad, Ahlad, etc. Right? Prahlad is the chief among all of them, and he sent them to private boarding school of Shukracharya Academy. Understand? And there's 2 great professors, Sanda and Amarka. You understand? Gurudev said, Sanda and Amarka means darkness and bull mentality. You understand? So he sent them, and they're 2 high class of professors who teach at that school. So they're teaching all the high class of demon people their sons. Because so many demons came under Hiranyakasipu. Just like when Kamsa was ruling, all the demons came under him. Keshi, Agasura, Bakasura, Trinavata. They all submitted to him because he could defeat them. And in many cases he defeated them, they became like his servants. The only demon he could not defeat was whom? Kamsa, I'm saying. Putin also was serving him. Bakasura and Keshi are brothers. Jarasandha. That's why he married Asti and Prapti. He married the daughters that would make alliance. You understand? Because he couldn't defeat him. Hiranyakasipu, he gathered all the demons under him. And they were all working for him. Understand? So now he could lay back and he was running the corporation, or what do you call it, like the mafia thing? Like he's like running the whole mafia demons, whatever. You understand? So that time he's enjoying life. So now he sends his child to school, and one day he says, I want to hear from my son. So they dress the son, and they bring him before the father, and the father asks, so there's a very important point that was brought up here once by Pujapad Srila Sridhar Maharaj. It was very interesting, actually. Let me open this thing up. So he mentioned that when Hiranyakasipu, when Prahlad came, all the fatherly affection came in his heart. And then he looked at Prahlad, so he digested fatherly affection in the eyes. Then he brought Prahlad closer. He digested fatherly affection by touching the body of Prahlad Maharaj and putting on his lap. Then he smelled the head of Prahlad Maharaj. So he digested through the sense of smell. So his heart was full of fatherly affection. You understand? And then he inquired, he wanted to hear him speak. He wanted to hear the sweet words. What have you learned? But Pujapad Srila Maharaj brought up a point. He says, the question that Hiranyakasipu asked him was, tell me the best thing you have learned. You understand? He asked, tell me the best thing you've learned. So therefore Prahlad Maharaj answered, Tat sadhumanyaya surya validainam sarasamudvigna diyam asakriha hitvam patam griham antkupam panam gato yagidanim asrayeta. Then Prahlad Maharaj says, oh Father, best of the demons, is this an insult? No, this is glorification. Hiranyakasipu had it inscribed in the pillars, everything. Asuravaryanam, best of the demons. So this was not an insult or anything. You understand? So he's saying, oh Father, Tatsadumane, what I think is the best thing I've learned? Oh, that those persons who are too attached to material life, they're always overcome by so many obstacles. I've seen practically, right? And I've also heard from my Gurudev that these people salat samud bigna. They're always overcome by so many obstacles. And and having given up any interest in self-realization, they remain in the dark well of grihastha life. Not grihastha life, grihamedi life. You understand? They remain in the dark well. But what they should do, they should give up this. And they should go to the forest and worship Hari. That's the best thing I've learned, Father. So the intensity that I described, how he first gave the sweetness of fatherly affection through eyes, through touch, through smell, through hearing. The same intensity completely took a 180. This is the same thing that happens in the material world. You meet somebody, it's at the supermarket. Hi, how are you? Oh, that's nice. You live here often? And you come here often? And then before you know it, a relationship develops, right? And for that first week of phone calls and everything, it's like, oh. Then it's like 2 weeks into the relationship that the first thing rises up, what? You understand? And then in some cases, it's so amazing because a person, they were in love for 2 months. And then that person could say, I hate you. So how's it possible? You understand? How's it possible? Of course, why? Because in the material world, there's no real love. So this is just a transformation of ahamkara and the modes of nature. You understand? No real love in the material world. Among devotees, we shouldn't think like that in grihastha life, though. Grihastha life, first of all, wife is always right. That's one thing. Second thing in grihastha life is that the relationship is covered by priti lakshana. Right? The dati pratabhinati goyamakati prichati bhukchai mojayate jaiva sadviram priti lakshana. Vaishnava dealings are covered by priti lakshana because Krishna is the center. Therefore, the home becomes ashram. So grihastha ashram. And every grihastha should think the home I'm living in is actually the temple of that Thakurji. I'm a sevak who simply stays there to serve them. If you think this is my house, my car, and we give Thakurji one room, in fact the smallest room, because the big screen TV is in the main room, and not safe, you understand? Like this. Anyway, so he told Father, the best thing that I've learned is that one should give up everything and go to serve Sri Hari. So all of the intensity of affection that Hiranyakasipu had showed had now turned completely 180 degrees. He became angry and furious, but not with Prahlad. He looked at Sandanamarka, and if his eyes could burn him to ashes, it would have burned him to ashes on the spot. How did you let this happen? You know my enemy is very tricky. He's very subtle. He has also many, many agents, including the demigods. They must have snuck in and contaminated my son under your watch. So Sandanamarka said, we don't have anything to do with this. We want a wonderful school. You understand? We teach all the basic demoniac principles: pride, greed, lust, anger, frustration. We cover all the course material very well. Our father is chief instructor there, Shukracharya. His entire portfolio, you should go and look it up. Look at his CV online. Everything you can see. So our school is very good. We have not done this. So immediately they took Prahlad back and they began to train him again. On another day, I have to contract things here, right? So on another day, they brought Prahlad Maharaj back, and Hiranyakasipu asked again, oh my son, now tell me, what is the best thing that you've learned? He said, Shravan Kirtan Vishnu Smaram Parasevam Dastam, Shravan Kirtan Vishnu Smaram, Archanam Vandanam, Dasam Satyam Atmani Vedanam, Itti Pumsa Apita Vishnu, Bhaktascha Navalakshana. He said, what I've learned the best is hearing, chanting, and remembering Lord Vishnu, serving, saying prayers, giving one full self. How? Iti Pumsapita Vishnu Bhaktascha Navalakshana. This is what I consider the best thing that I've learned. His father hit the ceiling. Okay? He took Prahlad Maharaj and immediately threw him off of his lap. Said, you have become an agent of my enemy. And then he began to speak very philosophically. He said, listen, if there is a disease in the body and the arm becomes diseased, then in order to save the whole body, you have to cut off even that arm. So after he get through speaking all kind of philosophical double talk to Sri Prahlad, and again, he began to tell the gods, okay, kill him. So then the gods began to take all their tridents and spears and they began stabbing the body of Prahlad Maharaj, which was so tender. Prahlad Maharaj was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Though his skin was so delicate, so soft, when the gods became tired and they pulled back, then they saw there was no mark, no impression, no scratch, no redness, nothing on the body of Prahlad Maharaj. So Hiranyakasipu, he was very amazed. So then he thought, there's different progressions given in different sastras and different commentaries. So then, counselors came to Hiranyakasipu and they told, listen, actually, what you just did out of anger is not good. Because Prahlad Maharaj is very small, people will criticize, oh, you're so big, so powerful, but you attacked a little boy. More than that, you had all of your soldiers attack a little boy. Better we devise another method? He said, what do you think? He said, we should give him poison at dinner. Invite him to come to dinner, and then we'll put poison in the food. So that was the next arrangement. They invited him. They all sat around the table, and in Hiranyakasipu, he smiled at Prahlad. Oh, Prahlad, we've cooked very specially for you. All of your favorite dishes. So they made sure they brought out every single thing that Prahlad liked. All of his favorite dishes. And they put the most virulent poison in each of them, in case he didn't eat one of them, or in case he became full. So they put poison in all the dishes. Is that locked? No. That time, Prahlad Maharaj, before he began to eat, he folded his hands and he made offering to Bhagavan. So everything became Mahaprasad. Because did Hiranyakasipu offer his food? We don't think so. He didn't even keep a separate Bogari fridge and a separate... No, we didn't do it. So anyways, Prahlad offered everything, and then Prahlad Maharaj began to take. And each thing he took more and more. Then he would take something else. And Prahlad Maharaj ate everything. Then he burped. Then he began to say, oh, glories to his Gurudev. Oh, glories to Mahaprasad. And then he said, oh, Father, can I be excused? So they're all sitting at the table stunned. And they're waiting because they want to see that he's going to drop dead. Right? But he says, he's looking around. Yes, you can be excused. Thank you, Father. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So I said, what should we do now? What should we do? We've given the most virulent poison. He has some kind of special power. I don't know what it is. I will find out. I said, listen, don't worry. We'll take him far away and we'll throw him off one cliff. So then they took Prahlad, they took him very far away. And there was one mountain and it went straight down to the ocean. So it describes that they took Prahlad and he was just chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna. And they tossed him off the cliff. And they could hear Hare Krishna, 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 all the way down. So then, there's one commentary in South India. It says as Prahlad was going down to the ocean, he remembered the beauty of the building of the bridge by the monkeys to Lanka. And he thought, how beautiful is Lord Ram and the savor that was done by these monkeys. So he became absorbed in Ram Leela. So he was falling more and more and more and more. And then suddenly, someone caught him. And they brought him back up and put him back up on the mountain. He was still absorbed. Then he thought, how beautiful is the pastime of my Lord. Who was his Ishtadev?
Lord Narayan?
Vasudeva Krishna, actually. Because Gurudev says Krishna was his Ishtadev. But because he had knowledge of the Aishwarya Gyan of Krishna, we have to assert it as Vasudeva Krishna. Yeah? Because when he recites his prayers, he's going to say, oh my Lord, Nija Labha Purnana. That you are self-satisfied, that you are fully competent. No, you don't need any service from anyone. In fact, you allow others to serve you. So no Brijabasi can pray like that. Nobody who understands Vraj Krishna. Understand? So he walks back into the assembly, and all of the soldiers there, yes, we've carried out the mission. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They see him walking by, and everybody's looking. So at this time, Hiranyakasipu becomes, I'm contracting this story actually. But Hiranyakasipu becomes full of anxiety. So then, he has a special visitor. It's his sister. Her name is? Holika. He says, oh my brother, why are you feeling such anxiety? You know I was given a very special boon. I have a very magical cloak. And in this cloak, if I put it around, I can make fire come from my body and I will not be burned. But who's ever with me will be burned. So I said, can you arrange? Oh yes, no problem. So she called, oh my dear nephew, please come. So Prahlad came, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. She put Prahlad on her lap, and then she wrapped her cloak around, and immediately fire burst out. and you could hear the sound of the fire crackling and everything. So all the demons are looking like this, big eyes, right? And because they can't get good position, someone fighting to get good position to see. Understand? And they hear the fire crackling, and then suddenly they start to hear, oh, oh, ah, it's working, it's working, it's working. And then they say, ah, ah, and then they realize it's Holy Ghost screaming. Understand? So the cloak was supposed to never burn her. But actually in the history it's mentioned, when she was given that cloak, it mentioned, if you will ever offend a great person, the opposite will happen. But she thought, we're in a family of demons. You understand? We just have a disobedient demon here. You understand? So then Holy Ghost burnt up that time, and Ranyakasipu became devastated. You understand? So he didn't know what to do. So Solomon Marcus said, listen, let us take Prahlad again. Do not become morose. Our Father's coming in a few days. Our Father, by his influence, Prahlad certainly will change. So then, at that time, Prahlad, again, I'm trying to track everything. Prahlad began to teach his schoolmates. You understand? And he teaches them beginning with the verse Kumar, Charat, Dharma, Pragvatamiha, with this verse. And that you should take up spiritual life right from the very beginning. You should not wait. Then he describes, for our life it's only 100 years. What age did this take place in? Such a youth. So actually lifespan was very long. Why does he say 100 years? Because in the material world, time is relative. So even if you're living for thousands and thousands of years, pretty much it's like a 100-year lifespan, because time is relative. So he said we've been living for 100 years, 50 of those years are spent sleeping, then 10 years have been playing, some years, 10 years spent in education, 20 years trying to work, 10 years left, your body's old and feeble and so forth, so on. So you should take up spiritual life immediately, because the human body is so valuable. And also, for sense gratification, you can get that at any time. He said, just like you don't ask for misery, then savatra dayavat labdha. Then your enjoyment, just like it's destined to happen, just like you don't ask, misery will also come. Then he told, listen, if you will chant the holy names, you'll also find great happiness. So he formed them into a kirtan party. Of course, they asked, well, where did you learn all these things from? Something in the market, that's not in our curriculum. We don't have any books with any of this in it. So he told the history of how he heard from his Guru Dev, so forth, so on. Long story short, then he's brought back to Hiranyakasipu. And then Hiranyakasipu again tries to kill him. Finally, Hiranyakasipu tells, listen, where are you getting this power from? Tell me, what power is in you? So first he thinks the power is in Prahlad himself. And then Prahlad says, no, Father, I'm getting my power from the same place you're getting your power. Everyone's power comes from the same place, from Bhagavan. Then he asks the question, well, where is Bhagavan? If he's so powerful, why is he hiding? You understand? He says, no, Father. Bhagavan is everywhere. You just have to be able to see him. Sarvabhutam Yapa said, Bhagavan Bhavav Atmana. This is the nature of the vision of high-class Vaishnavas. They can see Bhagavan is everywhere. Verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is it? Stavra Jangama Deke Na Deke Taramoti. Savatra Ishtadeva Sporti. Everywhere they see Bhagavan. So, because Hiranyakasipu knew, he oversaw the building of that pillar. You understand? He said, is he in this pillar? Because he was waiting. Because Prahlad says, yes. He says, oh, I know you're lying now. You understand? Is he in this pillar? Prahlad says, Father, he's everywhere. At that point, Hiranyakasipu got down off his throne with his sword in his hand. Other sastras say with a mace, and he smashed the pillar. As soon as he smashed the pillar, what was the first thing he heard? He heard the sound, but he couldn't see anything. So then effulgence came from that pillar. And then as the pillar split open, it mentions, Adrishyata Ati Adbhuta Rupamavaham. He saw a form that no one had ever seen before, including Prahlad. So now a question raises, listen, if Narasingha Dev is eternal, how have they never seen that form before? How they never saw that form before?
It's a special form.
But if Narasingha Dev is eternal, how can they say this? Also, when they were saying different prayers, after he killed Hiranyakasipu, they're saying different prayers in different hierarchical order. The lower demigods like Kinaras, Vijaharas, Gandharvas, they all say prayers. Then finally Brahma says prayers. And then when they want to approach him, They also asked, first you go, no, I ain't going. You go, I'm not going. You go, I'm not going. So finally they asked Lakshmi, this is your husband. She said, listen, Adrisva Ashruta Purvata. I've never seen or heard this person. No Bayo Yeka Samkita. Therefore I have any doubts about going near him.
Just, in terms of how it could have never been seen before, even though it exists in the spiritual world. There are some things that exist in conception in the spiritual world, but only manifest in the physical form in the material world, like the gopis' husbands don't physically exist there. So,
but
I'm just
Nrsinga has a
wondering,
Vaikuntha planet.
but does he show the rage in the Vaikuntha planet?
No, there's 9 different forms in Nrsinga. There's Ugra Nrsinga, Lakshmi Nrsinga, Prahlad Nrsinga, Sudarshan Chakra. There's so many forms in Nrsinga.
So even the raging Nrsinga is there in Vaikuntha as well.
Ugra Nrsinga is one manifestation. But the point being that Leela Shakti made this arrangement. You understand? Leela Shakti made the arrangement. Like the gopis, they look at Krishna and every time they see Krishna is different. This is called Anurag. Understand? But not here. It's not called Anurag. Here, this is the Leela Shakti making the Adbhut Leela. You understand? So, when they saw it, so then Hiranyakasipu became doubtful. Then he thought, this is actually just a trick of Lord Vishnu. You understand? This is some fancy thing that's been created by Lord Vishnu's imagination and sent here to kill me. But it's no match for me. His ego got him. And his anger was so intense. But what was the great thing about Hiranyakasipu's anger being so intense?
Gave Lord the fight.
But what did we say in the very beginning? What is Hiranyakasipu's anger? Samrama, Sambritya, Samadhi, Anubhava Yoga. Samrama, Sambritya means by intensification of anger, he will enter Samadhi and Anubhava Yoga. He'll be united with me in Yoga. It's in the intensity of that anger that Hiranyakasipu was in the position to be in the Samadhi of being an enemy of Bhagavan to give the pleasure of Viras. You understand? So again, this is a Prem Leela. It's not a Vaikuntha Leela, it's a Prem Leela. This is written in 3:16, 3rd Canto Bhagavatam, 16th chapter. And then Maya Saramba Yogena. He was united with the Lord in yoga and anger. You understand? So Prahlad fed the intensity of his anger. Now, did Nrsingadev appear to save Prahlad? Satyam vidatum nijabritta vashitam. He appeared to prove the statement of Prahlad was true. But Prahlad didn't see any difference between Nam and Nami. So he was always with Prahlad. Therefore, he was always protecting Prahlad. Prahlad did not need the Lord to show up to protect him because the Lord was always with Prahlad. And if you are going to show up, why not show up as Govinda? Why show up in this half-man, half-lion? Who asked for all of that? Hiranyakasipu. So who did the Lord show up for? This is the depth of praying in this Leela. If you catch praying here, you can understand it in Ras Panchanjai. Understand? For the love that he has for Prahlad, so much love. But for the love he had for his gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay, is extraordinary. So after he killed Hiranyakasipu, Naka Ankur Upatita Ritsaroruham, he put his entrails around his neck like a garland. He sat on the throne that was built by Hiranyakasipu in redecoration of Indra's throne. Understand? And he held up his heart like it was a lotus. So all of those who are truly bhaktas, that painting, when you first saw it in the temple, what did you think? Understand? When I first went to Brooklyn Temple in 1972, I went into Henry Street Temple. I went in and the deities were like to the left. Oh, the smell of the incense. The kitchen was downstairs, so you get to smell the ghee and subject. So I said, this is wonderful. The colors on the altar, the incense. Then you had the different paintings all the way around, everything. So I'm looking around, everything. And then, you know, I saw everybody bow down, so I bowed down. And then I said, I'm going to go to gift shop. I turned to go to gift shop. That Hiranyakasipu and the Nrsingadev painting is at the doorway. So I was like, oh. So in those days, you know, I was like, oh, you know, what is this? Right? So then I thought, well, maybe this whole thing is that if you try to leave, this is what happens. I don't know. Kind of cult stuff. I don't know. Anyway, but actually, that painting is the most beautiful depiction of praying there is. He's taken the intestines Right? If we offer Bhagavan a garland, it has to be made so many first-class flowers, arranged in a very nice order. What did Hiranyakasipu offer? His entrails. Try to think of this. What kind of love this is? But he took his heart and he held it up for the whole world to see. Rit Saroruham. Saroruham means like a lotus. You should understand. Kunteya Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashati. You understand? Also Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Coming after the verse of Pichetsu Duracharo. Jiva Goswami commentary, he says, if you want to understand what is Bhajite Momananyabha and what is the meaning of Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma, you should read the Charit of Jai and Vijay. You understand? Because apparently it was Sudurachar. But if you understand how this is the deepest kind of praying, your bhakti will be elevated. You understand? By understanding this mystery, Rahasya of this Leela, your bhakti will go up. You understand? If you understand your bhakti, they were demons, and they were very bad, lusty, this, that, and Bhagavan killed them. Yay, this should also happen for me. I should also be granted like this. Take away my problems. For those who have very deep bhakti, like we sung the prayer to Narasingha Bhaktivinoda Thakur, praying for Radha Krishna Seva. So you get Radha Krishna Seva if you understand the Sringadev like this. You understand? So he held the heart of Hiranyakasipu to glorify to the whole world, but especially to the Bhakta Lok, what is praying between Bhagavan and his devotee. Understand? After that, no one would approach, and then Prahlad approaches, sits on the lap of the Lord, and then by smelling the head of Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord thinks, oh, this is such a wonderful feeling. So the mood of Vatsalya Prem comes in his heart. Therefore, the predominating deity of Vatsalya Prem, not Braj Vatsalya Prem, but the general mood of Vatsalya Prem, is Narasingha Dev. If you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it goes and gives different incarnations, what they dominate. The predominating deity of Vatsalya Prem, because of power and impulsion, means protecting and nourishing, is Narasingha Dev. So when he smelled the head of Prahlad Maharaj and touched his head, Prahlad Maharaj began to recite the most beautiful of all kinds of prayers, though being a small boy of only 5 years old, 6 years old. At the very end of that, when the Sringadev wanted to offer him a boon, Prahlad told him, I'm not like a businessman. So he was indicating what is pure devotion, that they only want, and what did he say? Not even that I don't want liberation or anything. I want to follow the parampara of Lord Brahma and the feet of my Gurudev. This is what he prayed for. You understand? So this is the real glory in the Narasingha Prahlad Charit. So Gurudev wanted us to understand all the upakin of the teachings to the other schoolmates, how we should live our lives to practice bhajan, to pursue love. We should understand love in the dealing between Sri Narayan, Jai and Vijay. We should understand love that he had for Prahlad Maharaj. We should understand love and kripa that Prahlad Maharaj had for his own father, though his father was a demon. You understand? We should understand the kind of love Prahlad Maharaj had for mankind. That through his Leela, everyone would get to hear about the glories of Narasingha Dev. You understand? So the whole Leela is praying Leela. And as devotees, we should see it like that and not take other kinds of things from it, because our bhajan will be most nourished by understanding the rahasya of the praying Leela. You understand? Jai Shri Narasingha Bhagavan ki Jai. Jai Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. So any quick questions and comments?
Yes, sir. Yesterday, Maharaj was speaking about this pastime in Eugene, and he was saying that 2 birds that came on top of the tree, they were singing Narayan, Narayan.
Yeah.
One was Daksha, the other I forgot the name of them.
Yeah.
One, Brahma came with the 2 of the 2 demigods. So he was saying that when he came back to his home, his wife was like, you came back, I thought you were going to start your tapasya.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, but there was some inauspicious things. I heard the name of Narayan, there was 2 birds there. I threw some rocks at him. So she kept asking, like you were saying, she kept asking, what did you hear? What they were chanting? So she was counting 108 times. So when he gets to 108 times, okay, this is the last time I'm going to ask you. She said, oh, what were they asking again? What were they saying again? He said, Narayan, 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 Narayan. So 8 times, so 108 times. That's when she stopped asking, and that's when they conceived. So Maharaj is saying that this is a way we should do if we want to conceive a nice Vaishnava. We have to chant the names of
Yeah,
of
like
the
I should
Lord.
probably say you should chant 50 rounds.
Yes.
What kind of rounds do devotees will be chanting now?
Yeah.
I'm only saying, you know, and how fast we chant. Try to be absorbed all the time. Understand? Of course, now I'm old, so no problem. No issues. I'm not having any kids. But anyway, any other questions? Any other comments?
You mentioned Jai Vijay are on the western gate, so I was wondering why the western gate, if that's his favorite.
It does not say. It describes the 4 places on this western gate are Jai and Vijay. The commentary does not mention. It says on the western gate, because it's pointed out on the western gate, these 2 are the favorites of Narayan. That's what's mentioned in the commentary.
Yeah, so when Prahlad Maharaj was speaking to Hiranyakashipu at that time, and he was speaking high philosophy about bhakti, telling him that this is the most important thing, and then expressing what he learned that was best. So why didn't he just speak something lower? Why didn't he speak, knowing his father's mood and knowing his father's attitude? Why didn't he speak something else?
This is the secret of this lila. Remember, the intensification of Hiranyakashipu's anger is his samadhi in yoga, in bhakti yoga. So what Prahlad Maharaj told was the udipan to create the anger in him, to create the position in which the beer was to be tasted. So he told very high class, Natdevi Sarvatati, Vishnu, all these kind of verses. Tatsadu Manye, understand? All these verses that he told were verses that are glorifying bhaktas. And he's even telling them, listen, what is that verse? Matirna Krishna, Parataksvatova. Even with the help of others, you yourself, not happy. Unless you somehow or another get the mercy, Mahisham Pava Abhishekam, if you get the Abhishek of the dust of a devotee, and he hated devotees. So all these things are intensifying his anger. You understand?
But why was Prahlad, you know what I mean? Like, was he purposefully?
No.
Not purposefully.
Prahlad, this is his absorption. This is his nature. But it had the effect with the Leela Shakti to create the environment that was necessary for Viras. So therefore, among all of the different 6 categories, 6 personalities, Hiranyakasipu's fight with the Lord was the greatest. You understand? It was the greatest of all the fights. Therefore, Viras was fully tasted in the fight with Hiranyakasipu. That's why in Ram Leela, the fight with Ravan is secondary to finding Sita, separation from Sita, the Ayodhya, because Ramayana is a whole other thing, and a small part of that is the Yudhakand, the fight with Ravan. But there's so many things. In Krishna Leela, how much is there besides the killing of Shishupala? But what is the Leela with Hiranyakasipu and his lecture? Hiranyakasipu, when he's born, they start out looking for him. Where's Wisdom? Right? And Hiranyakasipu finds him, but he spends most of the time talking, right? Not fighting, right? But then when they finally do fight, then the fight is very quick. It seems like 1,000 years, but it's when it got good. And that was the end of the fight. But with Hiranyakasipu, they fought, and then Hiranyakasipu escapes, and then he's fighting again. And the demigods of word, it's becoming night. So many things which created the taste of Viras were fulfilled in that fight with Hiranyakasipu, who's Jai. It's not also every single kalpa that Jai and Vijay come here. Sometimes they're just regular demons. That Jai and Vijay who descended here, Adi Shira Swami, comments in Bhavata Deepika, like the original comment in Bhagavatam, original stay and Vaikuntha expansions come to this world. In that Leela. That Jai and Vijay are the ones who become Jagai and Madai in Gaur Leela. Because everything ends in Gaur Leela. It's another point that proves it's a praying Leela. After Narasingha kills all the soldiers, kills everybody, where does he go? To Narasingha.
Oh, yes.
Right? The most long walk in the world. Yeah? And in my Utsamai, the first time I went, I tried to do that barefooted. Oh man, yeah, no. So, and then that's Devapali. So all the demigods, all they're praying to Narasingha at Navadvip. You understand? That's the glory of that Leela. Is Prahlad there in Navadvip?
Yes.
Where? Haridas Thakur. You understand? So Prahlad is also there. Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaksha, are they there? No, but Jai and Vijay are. Right? Jagai and Madai. You understand? Because the Lord told, what is this verse? Prem Gopuramam Kamamiti Agamat Pritam Udava Adayo Pietan Vajanti Bhagavat Priya. All the dear devotees from all the previous incarnations headed by Uddhava, they will come into this Gaur Lila and will taste the intensity of Braj praying in the Odorja Lila of Mahaprabhu. So all those devotees tasted the intensity of the Ras Lila in the Kirtan Ras Lila and Srivasangam. Understand? So this whole Lila is praying Lila. Jai Hari Bol, time for Abhishek.
You already seen Joshua Guitar or Deva Hare?
Yeah, the temple one is for mine, so I'm just doing it.
Jai
Anybody can help with that table?